Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna be reacting to a video called How and Why We Bought a House in France. So this looks like a dream. I don't really know the particulars, but I think who wouldn't want to buy a house in France, right? Like, it is a beautiful place. I don't really know if this is gonna be Paris or, southern France. I don't know, but again, it looks like a dream. So I can't wait to find out. So let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe. Is that the house? It's a very pretty house. I love the ivy. It's a story, but yeah, it looks very pretty.
Hi everyone, it's April and Michael, and we are going to tackle in this week's video our process from sort of dreaming to reality. So we're going to bring it through how do we go from a vacation mindset to a home buying mindset, and it's going to have
I obviously they're going to explain it, but I think it's very funny if you know someone, a couple or something. They're like, "Oh, we're taking a vacation to France," and you're like, "Okay, great. Like, see you in a month. See you in 2 months." And then when they return, it's like, "Hi, so we bought a house." It must be quite a weird experience. So maybe it wasn't like a linear process. Maybe they just went back. But I think it's very funny the concept of like, I'm going on a vacation, and then next thing you know, they're like, "So we bought a house." It's like, okay.
Just sort of the what takes it from it's just on paper or in your mind to it's actually happening, and you're signing papers and occupancy agreements and bank accounts. So how did this whole thing happen? That's what we're going to talk about. We wanted to find communities that we felt comfortable in, that had housing that we both liked and could see ourselves living in, and like the community around, and like the community atmosphere around. We set out with a plan to spend 6 weeks over last summer in France, and we deliberately did 2 weeks in the eastern part of France near Beaune, which is in the Burgundy region, and we did 2 weeks pretty much on the opposite side of France, near Bordeaux.
Yeah, like spending 2 weeks to see how it is.
And then we did 2 more weeks, and we went up to Trul, which is in the Loire Valley, right on the banks of Loire.
So were there the wines?
Sunday mornings, because we would watch the Suzanne in France adverts from Normandy and Brittany and just get her tours. If you don't know about her website, we just enjoyed it because you kind of get to see not only the styles of house, but how far your money goes towards
very important
towards bedrooms and baths and
of course
land
what your money can buy.
My very favorite site was French Property Search, and I liked it because you could tailor it to bedrooms and bathrooms and region and budget, and so I did a lot of perusing and daydreaming with it, and we had a great idea of what we enjoyed when we were there. And we knew where our money would go the furthest. And so the French real estate system is really different. There's no multiple listing service or MLS, so you have to do an individual outreach to the realtor of the listing that you like. And so here's the tricky part. Sometimes, like with certain websites, things are very current, and you could reach out, especially with some of the videos that get posted right away, in real time that property might still be available. But when you're working with things like French Property Search or First for French Property, I think is one of them.
French Property, Green Acres.
Those listings will still be listed as current. And sometimes they will have like an under offer disclaimer on them, but many times they don't. Many of the listings that we were looking at once we got to France and kind of had settled in Beaune, were already under offer. We were a little surprised when we got an email back on a Sunday evening, late afternoon. It was from Andrew, who ended up being our realtor, spoiler alert, just said, were you still interested? You know, we had one appointment that was in the region, you know, in central France, which is probably 3 hours or so from
from where we were staying at that time.
And we were like, oh yeah, we'd love to come see it. We're going to be in the area on Thursday. And Andrew was kind enough to be pretty direct and just say, you know, it's not going to be here on Thursday. So if you're interested, so we drove from Beaune
Go right away.
Near Limoges, where our little town
this is so beautiful.
Yeah, it's very quaint. We knew really nothing about the town. Andrew had told us that, you know, the house was 220 years old, nearest that they could tell. And, you know, the more we walked around, the more charming it was. And we walked across the street and saw the little walled and gated garden that's across. And so Andrew had to go, and
it doesn't look real.
He spent a good deal of time with us, and said, well, you're going to want to go about this far in this direction and check out the lake. And we were like, lake? And so so we drove down and saw this beautiful recreation lake that's very close, and then to the town. And we started to head back, and we started kind of unpacking everything, because the buying process is different. You have 10 days after you make the offer. So we went home and we wrote up the email saying that yes, indeed, we would make a full price offer. And because we were still in Beaune for a few more days, we came and stayed close to the house. We visited again, and when we went to Bordeaux, we came back through before.
This was like such a stressful experience. Saint Bordeaux. This is gorgeous. It looks like you're traveling back in time. Really like countryside, very pretty. What is that place? Those flowers, like there's like so much green.
Thanks for watching.
Let us know if you have any questions. We'll try and
questions in the comments.
Yeah. Oh, and this is our little edition.
Love the dog's gorgeous. Okay, so yeah, I loved it because the house is very pretty, and I loved like the actual like town itself, Saint Bordeaux, I think that's the name. It's gorgeous. Like I love the lake. Apparently it has like 2 different lakes, I think, from what I've seen, from what I saw is correct, because they had like this like, you know, that they showed earlier, and then when they were driving there was like a smaller sort of lake, a lagoon maybe, but it's gorgeous. I love the actual like all the houses are like stone, and they're very like they have all the ivy growing in the walls, and a lot of them had not gardens specifically, but they had like a lot of like flowers and bushes and sort of like a lot of green just to the side of the street, into the side of like the actual houses. And they were like in the middle of the street, closer to the town, because from what I could observe, I think their house is probably a little bit further away from the downtown of the actual, you know, of the town. But so they have a lot of like more greenery. They have like this garden. I love that door, that, you know, the entrance with like that wooden door. It's so old-timey, so old-fashioned. I love it. And when they mentioned their house was like 200 years old, it's like, oh my god, what a dream to be able to live in a house like that. I know that probably most people, I don't know, some people would prefer like, no, we want a new house, because I do understand that older houses, they tend to have a lot of problems. Maybe not a lot of them, but maybe they need a lot of maintenance. And obviously, it needs to have like in proper condition. And I think the fact is, at the end of the day, that, you know, older houses just needs more. You need to take care of them a little bit better, and they have their own, you know, like little particularities. But I love it. It's so charming. I think it adds a lot of character. And yes, you know, newer houses are probably like better maybe, or, you know, it's just a lot of people would prefer that, because, you know, it's less of a hassle, and, you know, it doesn't really need that much maintenance. And, you know, there's a little quirks that you're not going to get, because, you know, it's in your house. It was built, I don't know, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. And if you're actually doing the building yourself, you know, you can, obviously it has good things, because it's like, I can build my dream house or something close to my dream house. So I'm going to choose like everything that I want. I'm going to choose like all the finishing. touches, and I'm gonna, I want a bedroom here and with the bathroom there. You can always play around with it a little bit better if you are actually doing the building. But a house like that is like, it's such an old house, and it's in France. I don't know. I would definitely make the leap, and I would buy it because it's like, yes, I like it. Like, look how charming it is. And yes, even though maybe I'm not gonna be able to actually select all the different kind of things of like, I want my living room here. If it's you're gaining other things. It's just like, it has so much charm, and if you actually feel good there, then like, I don't really know. I don't really care. I think I would prefer that instead of like maybe the other options, like maybe building a house. They didn't really mention like the cost, but I don't know if it's cheaper in this like little village in this town. I would think maybe yes. I think it's cheaper. I know because they mention like some very good pieces of advice of when you're going to the website, and you need to have your budget, right? So you can maybe like obviously take a good look around of like all the little villages and all the towns and see what I actually want like in my house. Maybe I'm expecting, or I want like a 2-bedroom house, a 3-bedroom house, at least like 2 bathrooms. Like some of the things are like non-negotiable and negotiable for you. And obviously, well, maybe my budget, it allows me to have the things I want, maybe in this town, but maybe not in the other one. So obviously you need to do your research. A huge part, I would say, of like buying a house is actually like doing your previous research and see, what my money can actually buy, how far along can it stretch, can my money be stretched. And maybe that's why a lot of people actually decide to live like in Paris, a bit further away from like maybe like the downtown or even Paris. Because it's like, well, yes, I'm sacrificing being near some things, but if at the end of the day I'm getting in my own house, I'm getting the things that I want that are non-negotiable for me, then obviously it's gonna be worth it, right? It's like, yes, I don't know, well, maybe for some people it's gonna be no. I prefer to be like near Paris or near the town where everything happens, so I don't really care of like maybe or spending a bit more money, and maybe I'm not gonna get out all the bedrooms or all the bathrooms that I want. But I'm close to like this place that I fell in love with. So obviously that's totally valid as well. But again, it really does depend. You really do have to do your own research and a lot of like soul searching and see, what actually like look at the reality and look at how much money I have and look at how the prices in this area are. So, let's have an honest conversation. If you're on your own, have an honest conversation with yourself. If you are, you're buying with your partner or you have a family, it's like, again, honest conversations need to be out of like, what can we actually sacrifice? But again, you're getting like all this beautiful like area. They have a beautiful garden as well, which I think is very pretty. So it is like, I don't know, I would live here in a heartbeat, probably. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going at it cold. Maybe if I have to actually think about this, maybe I wouldn't. But at the top of my head, I'm like, yes, I would buy it. It looks so pretty. I do have to say, obviously, you have to see if the actual town fits your needs and your personality and all of that. But you shouldn't actually like take, with important decisions like such as this. I think you shouldn't really. Maybe do not. You actually think about this. Do not like make any rash decisions, because again, you're gonna be stuck here, paying this for. It's a long-term commitment. So it is kind of weird to me that they mention like the 10-day process. Is it like 10 days in order for you to like make an offer, like make your actual offer of like, yes, I'm offering you this amount of money for the house? Because it's a pretty big decision, I think. It's like it's funny when they were like, wow, it is quite sort of like, it's just dawning on me like what we just did of like, we bought a house, and it's one thing to say, hey, we're buying a house, I want to buy a house, I'm interested. And actually like making your offer, getting your offer accepted, and then, okay, you have to sign the papers. It's like, oh my God. Okay, like it's the actual thing of like, I'm actually signing this contract and this house is mine. It's, gotta be a wild experience and a very stressful situation of like, is it actually worth it? Like the whole process, like they said, like they're very calm about it, but I do think you get a little stressful. And honestly, when you're down to that finish line of just like, we're signing the paperwork, it's like, it's gotta be a huge thing, I think. I've never done it, but I think it's a huge like commitment. It's a huge thing of like, wow, am I really sure of this? Like 100% sure? Yes. Okay. If you're with your husband, your partner or something, it's like, are we absolutely sure about this? I don't know. It's quite a nerve-wracking experience, because again, it sounds very nice in theory of like, yes, we're buying a house in France. But I think the logistics of it all, and actually, like, you know, it's the one thing of, like, she mentioned of, like, being a dream for you, or being like, oh, I can definitely see myself living here. I want a house here. Oh, what a beautiful, you know, thought to have this beautiful house be our. And, you know, and it's one thing of, like, having it in your head and your imagination, and it's a different thing actually being there and, you know, actually having the paperwork in your hand, and, you know, you actually committing to this. I think it's a huge leap, actually. And even if it's something that you want, because it's like you've already decided, it's my dream, I want to live here, you know, it's still, I think it's gotta be a little bit of, like, okay, am I sure? Okay, yes, I'm sure, let's do it. But yes, I really love it. And the only thing I regret is them not showing us more of the house, because we only got to see the exterior, and I would have loved to see the actual inside of the house and see if actually some original sort of, like, remains actually are there still, because again, it's on a 200-year-old house. It's gonna have some, obviously, a lot of repairs and remodels, and I would have loved to see, like, oh, do you have something that's original or, like, super old? I would have loved to see the actual tour of the inside of the house. And that was it for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.